people know about the Coke 600 and the Indy 500 that runs Memorial Day weekend, but I want to tell you about another race that happened at Virginia International Raceway by a group of amazing people who have rallied around their friend David to help him in his fight against ALS. The race this year was the third annual running of Dave's race, and this year it raised over $100,000 for much-needed ALS research to find a cure. Why is finding a cure important? To understand that, you have to understand David's story that matches so many others who have faced ALS. Someone is diagnosed every 90 minutes, and currently there is no cure. David Lloyd was an average guy, going to work every day and helping his wife Kristen raise their family. One day his thumb stopped working, so he went to the doctor thinking he'd just been on his cell phone too much or something else simple. However, he was surprised to find out that he had ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. The doctors told David that there is no treatment, no cure, and it seemed no hope. The life expectancy for an ALS patient is 2.5 years. They said muscles would slowly stop working throughout his body until muscles for his breathing and his heart were impacted. They couldn't say exactly how the disease would progress because it impacts everyone differently. The most impactful quote to David and his family was, "We know today about ALS what we knew about cancer 100 years ago." As they researched and found out that ALS can impact anyone, no matter your age, your health, gender, or race, David and his family were surprised to hear that so little was known about this disease. So that is where the story begins. David and his brother Scott both felt strongly that the Lord would have the final say, not the doctors. They decided then to keep moving to fulfill a lifelong dream of racing cars. This was something they had planned to do in retirement together, but the medical news changed that plan. After getting two 2015 Z28 Camaros and going to track events together in 2018, they started meeting some pretty amazing people in the racing community. Those amazing people kept asking the same question: how can we help? So David and Scott started posting updates on social media. Their first post series was when they brought David's newly modified Z28 from Hennessy in Texas, Cannonball Run style, back to North Carolina, and it started generating donations to ALS TDI.
It's day 2 of the Horsepower Heels Hennessy Performance Tour from Sealy, Texas, back to Cary, North Carolina. Going to give you a little taste of morning shock. 677 horsepower, naturally aspirated, all motor. Wake up.
TDI, a 501c3 pharma company that researches pharmaceutical cures for ALS 7 days a week. As that grew, they then started selling shirts and hats with all the proceeds going to ALS and TDI. Then in June of 2019, they put on their first high-performance driving event at VIR in Virginia, and shortly after went on to start their own 501c3. Their plan was to give away grants to ALS patients in need, in addition to continuing their support for ALS TDI. Their ties to racing grew as they purchased their first ever Hendrick Track Attack car last year. It was a formerly raced Hendrick road course chassis that catapulted them to another level. In addition to what David and Scott are doing, Racing for ALS has drivers all around the U.S. and internationally supporting the cause. They have shipped shirts, hats, and stickers to 15 states and Germany and have social media followers cheering them on from literally all around the globe. As Scott likes to say, my brother and I are not anyone special, but the group of people that the Lord has put together to take on this very big fight are very special. Since June of 2018, the Racing for ALS team has raised over $240,000 for ALS research and ALS patients in need. 100% of that money goes to charity as they have an endowment that pays for the cars, haulers, and overhead. Their hope is to keep racing until a cure is found. Most recently at Sonoma Raceway for the Nascar race, Hendrick Motorsports ran a decal on William Byron's Cup car in honor of David's race against ALS. This sure is a case of making lemonade out of lemons. Great job to all of you out there racing for Dave. Keep the pedal down until a cure is found and we end ALS once and for all.